Okay, so we are starting solving inequalities using addition and subtraction only today. So we're actually going back to solving one-step things, whereas we've been solving two-step equations. We're going to go back to one-step inequalities. What's an inequality? How is that different than the equations you have been solving? Mateo?
So, I know the symbols for inequality.
Oh, what are some of the symbols?
You got, it's, so you know how the regular ones are greater than the
Yep.
less than? It is greater than or equal to.
Okay, so you could have greater than, that's an inequality. You could have less than, that's an inequality. You could have greater than or equal to, that's an inequality. You could have less than or equal to, that's an inequality. So there's 4 inequalities, whereas with an equation, all you had was an equal sign. Carolyn? Oh, sorry. So our answers, instead of being things like x equals 4, you might have x is less than 4. So what does that answer mean? If you got the answer of x is less than 4, what does that mean? Because x equals 4 is easy. You've got 4. That's your answer. But x is less than 4 is completely different. Donnie?
X is below 4, like not 4.
So is it
Not 4, but below the 4.
below the 4? Everything below the 4? Yeah, it is. Like 0 is less than 4, that'd be an answer. 3 is less than 4, that would be an answer. A half would be an answer because that's less than 4. So every number that's less than 4 would be an answer if that were our solution. Jude? No? Okay. All right, so we're going to start with the video. So no taking notes yet. It's a little slow today. Come on.
How does using addition or subtraction to solve an inequality compare to using the same operations to solve an equation? Think about this question during the lesson. On the airline that Raul is using, the weight limit for both suitcases combined is 50 pounds. The baggage weight limit is 50 pounds for the airline that Raul is using. Raul's first bag weighs 38 pounds. How much can Raul's second bag weigh without going over the limit? Is there more than one possible weight for Raul's second bag?
So the larger bag here is 38 pounds. What's the possibility for this one? What could that smaller one weigh? Jude?
12 pounds.
It could be 12 pounds.
You could fit mine.
Is that, so there was another question within that. So 12 pounds, sure. Is there more than one answer? So is there more than just 12 pounds as an answer? Carolyn, you're not in your head yet. Yes, how come?
Because this lesson is about inequality, so it should be more than, the answer should be less than 12.
Okay. It's got to be less than 12 because the airline doesn't tell you you have to have your baggage weighing 50 pounds, right? The airline says your luggage has to be 50 pounds or less. You have to be under that 50 pounds is all. So if your bag here weighs 12 pounds, you'd be exactly at the limit of 50 pounds. But if it weighed 11, you'd still be under the limit of 50 pounds, right? Yes? Okay. Yes.
The limit of 50 pounds means no more than 50 pounds. This symbol for less than or equal to can represent the phrase no more than.
Bless you.
Write an inequality to represent the situation.
Okay? If this is our no more than, what does the weight have to be no more than? No more than 50. So 50 is going to be over here. What's going to be on this side?
38.
38 and
Plus whatever the
38
plus
12.
X.
the extra weight, right? So right now we're calling it X. We already know that the max is going to be 12, but X, 38 plus X.
Weight of the first bag plus the weight of the second bag is less than or equal to the baggage weight limit. Which of these quantities are known, and which are unknown?
Okay, so the weight of the first bag is known, right? We already know that one's 38 pounds, it's already been weighed. And the baggage limit is already known, that's 50 pounds. So if we substitute that in,
You know the weight of the first bag, 38 pounds, and you know the weight limit, 50 pounds. You don't know the weight of the second bag. That's what we want to find. Let P represent its weight. We'll solve this inequality the same way we would solve an equation. We can use the inverse relationship between addition and subtraction to isolate the variable. The subtraction property of inequality is like the subtraction property of equality. Subtracting the same number from both sides maintains the inequality.
okay, how come they subtract 38? Sam?
Because the weight is positive.
Yeah, there's a positive 38 here and they want to get rid of it, so they subtract 38. They show it a little differently than we're used to. Usually we put minus 38 down below it, but it's the same thing.
The solution P is less than or equal to 12. We can
Okay, was that any different in solving equations? Not at all. The only thing you need to remember is to bring down an inequality sign instead of accidentally making it an equal sign along the way. That's right today, that's probably the most difficult part, is you remember to bring down the inequality.
to show all possible solutions to the inequality P is less than or equal to 12. 12.
So if this were P equals 12, like it was just 12 pounds, all you would do is put a dot above 12. That's your answer. But with an inequality, you could have 12 and what else? Everything less than it. So we're going to have a dot at 12 and an arrow going to the left because everything less than it also is going to work.
Is the greatest possible value of P. The second bag can weigh at most 12 pounds. It can also weigh any other amount less than 12 pounds.
Okay, let's take some notes on that one. It can't really be, but we're not to the point of being able to eliminate the negatives yet. So technically, no, it wouldn't be negative. Okay. Let's, what was this, 5-4?
Yes.
Solving inequalities with adding and subtracting was our title. The problem that we just solved was, put this example number 1 in your notes. Example number 1 in your notes. It was 38 plus P is less than or equal to 50. That was the problem that we just solved.
I did it.
Okay, do you remember what they did to solve this? Eliana?
Subtract 38 from both sides.
Subtract 38 from both sides. Go ahead and do that. Just like you're solving an equal sign, an equation. All of you should be doing that. Subtract 38 from both sides. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
That will be an issue, I think, though. Okay, so that goes away. P is less than or equal to 12. Now, we knew this because of the word problem. We already knew it was going to be 12 pounds or under because we were talking the weight of a luggage and we can figure that out. But this is the proof on how to figure out the math behind that.
We have to do one
The weight,
step. Subtract.
today we're only doing one step, yep.
Oh, wow.
That's easy.
Yep, next week we'll get into the multi-step with inequalities, but today it's just one step. And then the other part to this also, you need to be able to graph it on a number line. So draw a number line. The weight of the luggage is based off of 12 pounds, so I'm going to put 12 in the middle. I don't do full number lines, and I don't expect you to do full number lines either. So I want you to do them like this, kind of a shortcut version of them. put 12 in the middle. What's one number to the right of 12? 13, so I'm going to put 13 to the right and, oops, not negative. And all I'm going to do is just those 3 numbers on my number line. Do not count from 0 or your number lines are going to get to be too large, okay? Don't do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then finally you're at 12. Then, this is how I normally graph my answers. So everything is based off of 12 pounds, so I'm going to put a circle above 12. And then all the numbers less than 12 work, so I draw an arrow to the left. They did theirs right on the number line. You can as well. I like mine above so I can see it better. How's that? Fine? All right. Okay, let's look at this word problem. Yeah?
Are we gonna have homework online or on the book?
Online.
Yes, sir.
Online.
What is due Tuesday?
Yeah. Kyoko has completed 26 hours of community service. Like service hours that they have to do. 26 of them are completed so far. Her goal is to complete at least 90 hours this semester. So she wants to have at least 90 hours of volunteer, and she only has 26 now. The question is, write and solve an inequality to show how many more hours H Kyoko can complete to make her goal. Actually, no, I'm going to go back to this in a second. Where do you see inequality words? You know when we did equations, we would pick out the equal words like is or was equal to. Where is the inequality wording? William?
Write and solve an inequality.
Oh, it does say that, yes. But up in the first part, so this right here is, whoops, I can't write on that. This first part right here is the actual problem. Where are my inequality words? Evelyn?
At least.
At least 90. We want at least 90. What does at least mean? Those are important words. What does at least mean, Bailey?
90 hours or above it.
90 hours or above it is the issue. So what inequality is that? Ivan?
Greater.
Greater than or, because it's 90,
Greater or equal to.
greater than or equal to, because it's 90 or above. So she wants more than or equal to 90 hours. How is she going to get to those 90 or more hours? Jude,
Doing service work?
okay? Has she done some already?
Yes.
Some already. What was it?
26.
Was it 26? 26 already, and then she's going to do some more. Our job is to figure out how much more. And they did specify to use the variable h. That's important because if you have to type it into the Pearson program, you've got to use an h. Okay, so pay attention to that. How do I solve it? We should be good at this. Nathan?
No, subtract.
Subtract.
26.
Good. If you want to draw a line down the inequality, now it's where the inequality is, not the equal to anymore, but you can still draw the line. Subtract 26. That goes away. H is greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. Eliana, what is that?
54.
It is 54. Okay, let's sketch the answer to that on a number line. Let's represent it using a visual. What number should I put in the middle? 54, because that's the hours we're talking about. Again, don't count from 0 all the way up to 54 would be ridiculous. So we're going to do 54, do one number on either side, so I'll put 55 on the right, 53 on the left. And what would my graph look like, Landon?
Isn't 9 minus 26 60?
Yeah, that's what I got.
Oh, it is 64.
Yeah. Okay.
It is
Oh,
64. Eliana, you led me astray.
I said it with a question mark and you
Oh,
said
did you? I was like, yeah, I just went with it.
Because I'm trying to do it again. I'm like,
Oops.
yeah.
Change those to sixes.
What to say.
Sorry. I was thinking 54 as well. 64. What?
Subtract the die.
If that warning comes up, it doesn't change the video. Just let it be. It's fine. It's fine. Is the warning coming up? Yeah, it's okay. It's just because I'm not signed into iTunes. That's all. Okay, how would I graph this? What would that inequality look like? As a visual representation, what would it look like? Claire? Oh,
Wait.
Landon, I had asked you.
You can ask Claire.
Okay, I'll ask Claire. I'll ask Ivan.
Yay! So it goes 64 and to the right.
64 and bigger to the right. Okay, good. So I'm going to put a dot above 64. And I need 64 at least. And how would I give a written answer? If the question was, how many hours does Kyoko need to still work? What would you say? Mateo.
She needs to work more than 64 hours.
Not more than.
64.
What was the word they used in the problem?
At least.
At least.
Oh.
Use the same inequality words they used in the problem. So she needs to work
At least.
at least 64 hours.
So long.
She needs to work at least in the semester.
That's how long my grandpa works in a few days.
Yeah.
Could you use an inequality to figure out how much she needs to work per week?
Yeah, you could. There it is. All right. Next one. Read it along with me. The weather forecast predicted that the evening temperature could get as low as negative 12.5 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's really cold.
Just so you know, my sister in Minnesota texted me just this morning at 6 o'clock this morning, and she's like, just so you know, if you're feeling like it's cold in Texas, it is negative 22 degrees here this morning.
Oh my god.
Can I go there?
And I said, just so you know, we are nearly 100 degrees more than you are right now. Because we were at 70 degrees this morning, nearly 100 degrees more, I said. She didn't think that was funny. She didn't think it was as funny as I did.
Oh, Michelle.
When I went to Utah, like, it got to 0 degrees.
Yeah?
And so I stayed until like 5 that morning. And so I checked the forecast and it was like -2, and that was my first time.
In the negatives, yeah. Okay, so, no, here we go. No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
No. So, just because it's cold doesn't mean it's snowing.
You see, Mateo?
It still takes rain. It still takes precipitation to snow.
Have you seen that ad where the guy is like at the beach and everyone back at home is like in the snowstorm?
Oh, I haven't seen that one. No. Okay, so the forecast is saying the temperature could get as low as negative 12.5. What does that mean when it says it could get as low as? What does that mean? Donnie?
Could it get as low as?
He's
No,
thinking. Let him-
I'm thinking.
yeah. It's hard to explain it.
Could it?
So what else could it be?
It could be as low as. Okay,
So let me ask you a question.
could get. So it could be negative 12.5 or more.
Or more. Good. So could it be negative 12 degrees?
No.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Is it negative 12 degrees higher than negative 12 and a half degrees? Could it be negative 13 degrees? Then it couldn't be that. Okay? So it could be this low, or it might be a little bit higher than that, is the thought. So between the afternoon and the evening, the temperature dropped by 7.5 degrees Fahrenheit, and the forecast was still correct. So the forecast of getting as low as this is correct. What could the afternoon temperature have been? Eliana?
Wait.
Oh, I don't want an answer.
I can tell you. It could have been 70 degrees.
Okay, no, because it only dropped 7.5 degrees. Okay, example number 3.
It'd be 60.
So let's take some notes on the problem. It said that it could get down to negative 12.5 degrees. Okay, the forecaster said that that might happen. And the temperature from afternoon to evening, went down 7.5 degrees. Are my abbreviations okay here?
I think so.
You can write it differently if you need to.
Whenever you lived in Minnesota, did y'all own sleds?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
And Utah we saw big.
Okay, so if we have an afternoon temperature of T, that's our question, is what's the afternoon temperature? If I had an afternoon temperature of T, what did the temperature do from the afternoon temperature? Eliana?
Minus 7.5.
It went down by 7.5 degrees. So I'm going to subtract 7.5 degrees from it. Except I'm not calling it 7.5 degrees. I'm just calling it 7.5. Because now this is in math. So we take out the labels. And this could get down to negative 12.5. But it might not get down to that, right? So what inequality symbol should go in here? If it might get as low as this. Evelyn? This is the lowest it could get.
Greater than or equal to?
Greater than or equal to. Because this is the lowest it's going to go. So the temperature it really is has to be more than this or this. So greater than or equal to. Okay, how do I solve it? The really difficult part is getting that written. Now we should know how to solve it from our previous experience. Landon, what do I do?
So we start off, we add 7 plus 7.5. We also at 12.5.
Okay, so we're going to add 7.5 to both sides, 7.5 to both sides. The minus 7.5 plus 7.5 cancel. T, make sure you bring down greater than or equal to. I do have to figure out this math on the right hand side. Since the 12.5 is negative, but the 7.5 is positive, do I add them or do I subtract them? I have to subtract them. So off to the side here, I'm working over here now, on the left. I'm going to do 12.5, subtract 7.5. That's 5. But it's negative 5 because that 12 is the larger number and it's negative. So negative 5. So what was the temperature in the afternoon? What was the temperature in the afternoon, Hannah? Negative 5 degrees.
Well, it could be.
It could be, yep. The afternoon temperature could be negative 5 degrees. They said could get down to, so I used could be negative 5 degrees. scroll that up a little bit. Okay, what about a number line? This gets tricky when we're working on our negatives. So the temperature in the afternoon was -5 degrees, so I'm going to put -5 in the middle. But what integer is just bigger than -5? -4. Be really careful that you put those in the right order, because -6 is smaller than -5. And we said it had to be greater than or equal to -5, so I'm going to put, it could be -5, but it might have been more. Okay, how are we feeling? Just fine? Let me see what else we have.
I think because it's one step, it feels easier.
It's a little easier, yeah. It's really the graphing that we're working on
Oh, so is that also mean what graph?
that will be,
No, I already saw it's gonna be fractions.
oh, stop. Okay, write it down. Write it down. We're gonna do this problem and then a couple of vocabulary words, and then I'll let you get to work. Okay? So copy this one down, example number 4.
That's all we're doing, like, have my parents start sleeping.
Okay, I'm gonna take this away. Those of you not done writing yet, I'm gonna write it on here still, so. Where was it? X minus a half less than -2/3? Okay. This inequality is different from our other ones because now it's just a less than. There's no equal to here, which is gonna change our graph, our number line at the end, but I'll show you that later. Solving is normal. What do I solve? Or how do I solve? How do I, Ivan, your hand is raised, but you're talking. Somebody else. Ivan has done a lot of answering today. William?
So first thing we need to do is get the, we need to isolate the variable.
Mhm.
So we add 1/2
Okay.
to both sides.
All right, so
Do we
let's,
need to continue.
nope, just that. Okay, add a half to both sides. That's what we're doing. On the left, the minus and the plus cancel. That's exactly what our goal was. X is less than. Now we got work to do because I got to figure out what that's going to be. I've got a minus sign and a plus sign, so I'm going to be using what operation? Sam? Subtraction. Which of these is bigger, 2/3 or a half? 2/3 is the bigger. 2/3 is bigger than a half. It is. Okay, so off to the right hand side, I'm going to do 2/3 subtract a half. If you need to get common denominators first to know which fraction is larger, you can do that. Get common denominators and then choose which way to subtract them. But what's the common denominator between 3 and 2? Hannah? 6. So my first fraction has to get multiplied by 2. 4/6. Second fraction has to get multiplied by 3 to get a 6 in the denominator, so that becomes 3/6. What is 4/6 subtract 3/6? 1/6. So I get 1/6, but that bigger number was negative, so -1/6 is my answer. Okay? There's the answer to the inequality. I don't want to put -1/6 on a number line because number lines are usually just the integers. So I'm going to do 0, -1, and 1. Where would -1/6 go? If this is my number line, where is -1/6, Claire?
Between the -1 and 0.
Negative between here. Which one is it closer to?
The 0.
Much closer to the 0. So I'm going to put -1/6 like right in here. And my solution is everything less than negative 1/6. Does not include 1/6. Are you following me on that? Okay, so how you show that is before we put a dot above it, now we put an open circle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. You remember that from last year?
Oh,
Yes. Why you showed us?
So it's an, tell me again why it's an open circle.
I don't know.
Eliana,
Because it is not or equal.
it's
It
not
doesn't have an or equal to.
good. There's no equal to. Negative 1/6 is not actually a part of my answer. So you use a filled in circle when it is a part of your answer. You use an open circle when it's not. All I want is the less than part, which is the arrow to the left of negative 1/6. You think so? Mm. All right, let's do some vocabulary. If you have the, we just want to do some work on the symbols. So, yeah. Yes. I saw you were trying to write. You really were trying. Go ahead. Go ahead. I want you to make it a little table. Like that. I want you to make this table in your notes. Oh, that's just the title of it. And I'm actually going to put, so make this a little column, a bigger column in the middle, and then a little column on the right.
Are we gonna be writing words?
Huh?
Are we gonna be writing words?
In the middle, we're putting words.
I can fit it.
No, I don't think it's that.
We're going to put the circles, actually, so you remember which one is which. So when you read these word problems, you need to be able to pick out the inequality words and which inequality they mean.
Oh, I can tell you what all of those mean.
All of them? Well, I know you know what those mean. I want to know what words mean them.
Okay.
Like in one of the word problems, we used at least. Which inequality was at least? If I told you to eat at least 4 cookies, what am I telling you?
Greater than or equal to.
4 or more. So at least is going to go down with greater than or equal to. If I told you you could eat at most 4 cookies, that has a very different meaning. What does at most 4 cookies mean, Claire?
The one on top of that.
Less than or equal to.
Yeah.
At most 4 means you better not go over 4 cookies. So this is at most. Another one that you might see for this, I'm going to put a comma and do no more than. No more than. You can have no more than 4 cookies. Means you can have up to 4, you just can't have more. How would this wording change to be greater than or equal to? Instead of no more than, what would that be? Evelyn?
Yes,
Never mind. Ivan?
yes, more than.
Yes, more than would be fine. That's not usually how we say it though. Usually we say no, instead of more we say no less than. So I'm just trying to make a little cheat sheet here for you for the vocabulary terms. For this one, for less than, what words might we see? You might just see less than. That's actually pretty common. Jude, do you have another one? No? Okay. Claire? For the second one? Yeah, greater than for the second one.
Or more than.
Or you might see more than, yep.
He said that too.
Really, I think those are the most common words. Not that you won't see other things, but these are generally what you'll see for the words to use. In the last column, I want to put, you know on the number line you have to do a filled in circle for some, but an open circle for others. I want to put which one you use for each of these symbols. So if you have a less than, do you do a filled in dot on your number line or an open dot?
Open.
Open dot, because there's no equal to. Okay. Open dot for less than. What about greater than?
Open.
Open dot. And then what about the last two?
Close.
Both closed dots. Why are both of the bottom one closed dots? What is special about the Netherlands?
Because it's like equal to, so
That's exactly what it
kind
is.
of,
Yep, it's the equal to part. All right. Your homework's online, but you're gonna need to write things down. Hold on. So take out your whiteboard markers to use for your work, okay? Go ahead and check it out. Thank you.